Hello everyone. This is going to be a 180 literary for the RPR simulator and it will be 5 minutes long. Ready? 9 years ago, I reported from the Committee on Commerce two bills, one on paying a bounty to all ships engaged in foreign trade and one on postal subsidies. The bounty was nearly double that contained in the pending measure. It passed the Senate but was defeated in the House by a majority of 3. The subsidy bill cost me several months of hard work. The completed bill was submitted to capitalists who were willing to consider the propriety of establishing steamship lines to South America. I received assurances that if the bill was enacted into law, 6 or 8 lines would be established of ships from 14 to 21 knots an hour. The House crippled the bill by a large and unscientific reduction of rates and returned it to the Senate too late in the session for any contest, and it became a law. Of course, it proved a dead failure. We did succeed under the bill in securing the American line from New York City to Southampton by admitting 2 ships, the New York and the Paris, to an American registry on the condition that the company should build 2 ships here of like tonnage and speed. Those 4 ships, however, have since been run at a loss to the corporation, not to us, for their value as auxiliaries to our Navy during the war was beyond computation. 3 years ago, instructed by resolutions of state legislators and of political conventions, it seemed to me that our people were taking a greater interest in the restoration of our merchant marine than ever before, and that it was an opportune time to once more call the attention of Congress to the subject. I found, however, a great diversity of opinion among friends of the ship as to the remedy to be proposed. Discriminating duties had many advocates, bounties, and subsidies, to name 2. I knew that success was dependent upon united action. As a method of securing that, I selected a committee of 25, all friends of congressional action. Some of them were ship owners who were required for their expertise, but a majority of them had no interest other than as American citizens. Knowing that the subject to be considered would involve many important legal questions, I advised the employment of counsel. The Honorable George Smith was very wisely selected. The committee was untiring in its labors, meeting many times in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. After full, complete, and most careful consideration, this committee finally, with entire agreement, decided against discriminating duties, against discriminating tonnage taxes, and against bounties to be paid on the exportation of the products of the American farm. The committee, however, was in favor of sailing bounties for our ships, and in my opinion, these conclusions were eminently wise. None of the committee members was in favor of free ships, and I do not know why any of them should be. The highest duty of the United States of America today is to provide more shipyards, more docks, more facilities for the construction of ships for the oceans. A great maritime nation like ours might just as well be without a constitution as without shipyards. Free ships, moreover, would simply relegate all of our shipyards to doing government work or supplying the necessities of the coast trade and the Great Lakes. Besides, what benefit would a free ship be? What would you save by it? You would save the depreciation, the interest, and the insurance on the additional cost of the American ship over the English ship, and that is all. You would save, on the average, about $24.50 on a gross ton. That you would admit, you would save, I do admit. But you would still be handicapped by the difference of operation from 40 to 80% in wages. I assert, and I assert it without the slightest hesitation, that you can submit and admit free ships to the United States today, and you will find no capital to invest in them. You will not be able to sell them on the oceans of the world in completion with Norwegian and English ships. A bill was finally drafted embodying the views of this committee. It was presented to the Senate in the last Congress by Senator Hanna and to the House of Representative Payne, but for want of time, the measure was not considered. The General Committee agreed to the amendments proposed by the congressional committees. The press gave the details of the bill to the country, and the result was further criticisms and additional amendments. All these were considered, and the ones that seemed reasonable were adopted. At the last session of this Congress, the amended bills were again discussed in committee. Additional amendments were adopted and agreed to by a subcommittee of the General Committee, which was continually in session. Finally, the pending measure with proposed amendments was favorably reported to the Senate by the chairman of the Committee on Commerce. In regard to this measure, I wish to say that there never was any other bill before Congress that received such close and critical consideration, on which was expended such careful, conscientious, and intelligent work, nor was there ever one with this purpose in view, which was so generally commended itself to the friends of the American ship. Its critics and opponents are those who honestly believe in and have always advocated free ships, and the foreign lines who will not tamely submit to surrender the profits of their carrying trade. Right. So we do have a small word list. We've got New York City, capital N-E-W, space, capital Y-O-R-K, space, capital C on city. We've got Southampton, capital S-O-U-T-H-A-M-P-T-O-N, and that's one word. New York, we've got Paris, capital P-A-R-I-S. You're going to capitalize S on Senate, S-E-N-A-T-E. Let's see. Okay, let's see, Congress. You're going to capitalize C-O-N-G-R-E-S-S, capitalize C on Congress. Honorable George Smith, capital H-O-N-O-R-A-B-L-E, and then George Smith, capital G-E-O-R-G-E, Smith, capital S-M-I-T-H. Let's see here. Philadelphia, capital P-H-I-L-A-D-E-L-P-H-I-A. Washington, D.C., capital W on Washington, capital W-A-S-H-I-N-G-T-O-N. D.C., capital D, period, capital C, period. Okay. United States of America. The only thing you don't capitalize there is of. Okay. And Great Lakes, capital G-R-E-A-T, space, capital L-A-K-E-S. English, capital E-N-G-L-I-S-H. American, capital A on American. United States, capital U on United, capital S on States. Norwegian, capital N-O-R-W-E-G-I-A-N. Okay, and I give you Senate and Congress. Senator Hannah, capital S-E-N-A-T-O-R, Hannah, capital H-A-N-N-A. House of Representative Payne, you're going to capitalize H on House. Actually, it's House by Representative Payne. So by is lowercase. Representative, capital R-E-P-R-E-S-E-N-T-A-T-I-V-E. Payne, capital P-A-Y-N-E. Okay. Chairman of the Committee of Commerce. Chairman, capital C-H-A-I-R-M-A-N. That's one word. Of the is lowercase. Committee, capital C-O-M-M-I-T-T-E-E. On is lowercase. Commerce, capital C-O-M-M-E-R-C-E. Okay, and that concludes your word list. And that concludes your 180 literary for the RPR simulator. Good luck.